She told me over dinner, as casually as someone sharing weekend plans. No build-up, no hesitation. She said she was marrying another man. For a moment, I thought I had misheard her. My mind searched for sarcasm, a test, maybe a cruel joke, but her face was calm, almost relieved, as if she had rehearsed the moment and finally reached the last line. I felt the weight of years press down on my chest. Memories, promises, sacrifices, but none of it turned into anger. Instead, a strange stillness settled over me. I looked at her, nodded once, and said quietly, "Fine, go live with him." The word surprised even me. I expected shouting, tears, or bargaining to follow. None did. She blinked, confused by my lack of reaction. In that instant, something shifted. I wasn't losing control. I was letting go, and neither of us yet understood how much that calm response would change everything that followed. She waited for accusations, questions, a breakdown. When none came, she filled the silence herself, explaining why this other man made her feel alive, understood, chosen. I listened without interrupting, not because I agreed, but because I was done competing for clarity. I repeated myself calmly. She was free to go. That freedom unsettled her. She had expected resistance, something to justify her decision emotionally. Instead, she got acceptance, and acceptance stripped away the drama she had built her courage around. She left that night feeling victorious, confident she had finally taken control of her happiness. I stayed behind, sitting in the quiet house, noticing how light it felt without the tension I'd been carrying for years. I didn't chase her. I didn't call. I didn't warn her. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let someone walk exactly where they think they want to go. Consequences reveal themselves better than arguments ever could. The weeks that followed were strangely peaceful for me. I focused on work, routine, and rebuilding parts of myself I had neglected while trying to keep our relationship afloat. Friends checked in, expecting heartbreak. Instead, they found calm. Meanwhile, reality began pressing in on her new life. Living with someone is different from dreaming about them. The man she chose wasn't the escape she imagined. He came with habits, expectations, and limitations she hadn't planned for. Slowly, the excitement wore thin. Bills, responsibilities, and disagreements replaced fantasy. Mutual friends mentioned tension, arguments, confusion. I said nothing. My calm unsettled her more than anger ever could have. She had expected me to fall apart, proving she was irreplaceable. Instead, I adapted. That contrast forced her to confront a question she wasn't ready for. If I could move on so easily, had she misunderstood her importance in my life, or misunderstood mine and hers? She started reaching out indirectly, asking friends how I was doing, commenting on how different I seemed. When that didn't get a reaction, messages followed. Casual at first, then increasingly emotional. She said things were harder than she expected, that living together wasn't what she imagined, that maybe she'd rushed things. I listened politely when others relayed her words, but I didn't respond. I had already given her the freedom she asked for. Taking it back would have meant betraying myself. The upside-down moment she never anticipated was this. I wasn't waiting. I wasn't broken. I wasn't angry. I had accepted her decision fully, and acceptance removed her leverage. People expect conflict after betrayal or abandonment. They don't expect composure. Composure forces reflection, and reflection is uncomfortable when it reveals that the life you left behind is improving without you. Her new relationship struggled under the weight of expectations she carried into it. The man she married began to notice her distraction, her comparisons, her restlessness. He asked questions she couldn't answer honestly. Why was she still checking on me? Why did my absence bother her more than my presence ever had? She couldn't explain it without admitting a truth she didn't want to face. She expected me to collapse so she could feel justified. Instead, I stood firm, quietly rebuilding a life that no longer revolved around her choices. Friends noticed the shift. The narrative changed. I was no longer the one left behind. I was the one who moved forward without bitterness. That reversal unsettled everyone involved. It proved something powerful. Closure doesn't come from winning or losing. It comes from knowing when to stop participating. And I had stopped the moment I told her to go live the life she chose. Eventually, she reached out directly, asking if we could talk for old time's sake. I declined gently, not because I hated her, but because reopening that door would only blur boundaries I had worked hard to build. She said she needed clarity. I realized then that clarity is often requested by those who avoided it when it mattered most. I already had mine. I wished her well and meant it. That response shocked her more than any rejection. She had expected anger or longing, something that proved emotional access still existed. Instead, she encountered neutrality. Neutrality confirmed that what we had was truly over. That's when everything turned upside down for her. The marriage she rushed into felt fragile, while the life she left behind felt stable. Not because I was better, but because I was honest with myself about when to let go. I learned something important during that time. Letting someone go doesn't mean you lose. It means you stop bleeding slowly. When she announced she was marrying another man, I could have fought, begged, or demanded explanations. None of that would have changed her choice. By responding calmly, I removed myself from the chaos and allowed reality to do its work. People often mistake calm acceptance for weakness. It's not. It's the strength that comes after exhaustion. Watching her struggle wasn't satisfying. It was clarifying. It showed me that I had made the right decision at the right moment. Life has a way of correcting imbalances when you step out of the way. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need validation. I needed peace. And I found it by refusing to chase someone who had already chosen a different path. She shocked me by announcing her marriage, but what happened afterward shocked her more. I didn't fall apart. I didn't wait. I didn't fight for someone who had already left. By calmly saying, "Fine, go live with him," I ended the struggle before it could destroy me. The world turned upside down, not because of drama, but because of silence and resolve. She learned that freedom comes with responsibility, and choices don't pause while you reconsider them. I learned that dignity doesn't need volume, it needs clarity. Today, I carry no resentment, only understanding. Some endings look like losses until time reveals them as releases. And sometimes the moment you stop resisting is the moment life finally starts moving in your favor.